Hi everybody, welcome to today's transmission. This is a twin flame upgrade where we access the higher codes of unity and divine love. You can receive this if you are not identifying as a twin flame, as these codes are relevant to everybody, but it has come through the twin flame unity, these source codes, these soul tree, AWA, God tree codes that have been coming through, and raising the lower platform of the twin flame unity, which of course also then upshifts the collective as well. So I'm going to tell you a bit of a story so that you consciously understand what these codes are about and what they're doing. I'm in channel now. I can feel the light codes coming through. It's been since the solstice full moon that this all occurred. And this is a secondary wave after the first wave came through where I actually created this tree. So I will tell you the story about that very shortly. I just want to show you this configuration. So we have the tree, which is the God tree, the unity tree, the source tree, the divine love tree. It has crystals at its base. We're sitting on my portal, which has crystals underneath. We have the twin flame spiral here as well at the base, as well as some love in gold and silver coasters that I created as charging plates and have been using in all the transmissions. At the top we have the hummingbird and the flower in its sacred angelic container at the upper levels, at the high levels, with the twin flame spiral, as I said before, at the base. So Sandalphon is holding the lower space, Metatron is holding the upper space. And I've just noticed that I've aligned this exactly so that there's a crystal calcite, I believe, creating a channel down through there to the twin flame spiral. And anyone who's seen my previous videos understand that this was the geometry that I physically felt and assisted in landing it into a crop circle configuration in 2011, just prior to meeting my twin flame. So there has been other activations happening through the twin flame dynamic that I've felt through this spiral as well. So anyone that's got any of this artwork at home in any form on mugs or coasters will also receive that upgrade because it's quantum art. So as that energy shifts through the light work, all of the representations of it receive those upgraded codes. So I'll tell you the long-term story about this tree, but just since the equinox, what I've been feeling coming through is this tree was obviously calling me, the light codes in this tree, because the solstice. So as I was going to sleep, I went to sleep in my own bed for due to my cats making a lot of noise. I had to go into the other room, which is the therapy room, that had this right next to the bed, and sleep in there 2 nights in a row. And as I was doing that, I was getting all these, I was receiving the light codes. It activated and I received the light codes, and also it gave me visions and information on what I needed to bring through so that I could share these codes with others. So I created a digital artwork that contained the codes that were downloaded, which has been also put onto mugs and notebooks and things like that. And that was very guided, and I really felt as those light codes transferred into that image and then the subsequent products. So what happened is, because I didn't want to keep being disrupted in the night so that I would go and sleep under the tree, I moved the tree into my room. And when I did, there was this plant right next to it. And if you're familiar with this peace lily, funny enough, they're called peace lilies, they only have one petal with the stamen there. And to me, that looks like a divine union. It looks phallic, and it looks like it's being received by the feminine. And what I'll say about that is it's also formed a heart. So this flower emerged only after it came in the vicinity of this soul tree. So what this represents to me, so many different things, but it's a love heart shape, right? And it's also two vessels, two expressions of the petals, with one inner core, which is the soul, or the third energy, moving down the middle of the two. So yeah, there is so much in that as well. So now that you've understood the configuration, and please understand that you're receiving energy from the way all of these are placed together, and working together, creating a geometry. I will take you through the tree and the story. So this tree, I made it from clay. So the trunk is made of clay. It's silver and white, and then it has feather branches. I just felt guided to create it, and at the time of creating it, my twin and I just completed it at the point we were about to go and see the movie Avatar together in 4D in 4D, which means that we got splashed with water, and our chairs shook every time, you know, they were flying or you know, moving through the water and things like that. It was very, very experiential. But before we went to see that, I just completed this, and I was talking him through it and asking him if he can feel the energy in it and that it's unity. And then I said, I have a sense it's got something to do with the tree in Avatar, which the first Avatar, which I had seen years earlier, did have the Awa tree, but it didn't look like this. And so it wasn't until really the end of the movie that you see the underwater Awa tree that they connect to with their, you know, they connect to through the back of their head there, through the connecting threads, connecting cords, and access the divine. And it looks like feathers underwater. It looked just like this, and we were both really surprised at how that energy coming through the movie was also coming through me into this version. Now, when I was making this, I also felt where the tree is driven from, and it was this point here. So there's it's very protected, it's covered over, but there is a kind of like a steering wheel here. It's a lateral branch with two horns on it almost, and that felt extremely sensitive, and I felt that that was the connecting point, and that's where I was connecting to the tree. And when I connected to it in the way they connect in Avatar to other creatures and to the tree, I could feel its whole being. I could feel its soul. I could feel the exquisiteness of it, and it was so responsive, and I felt that I could drive it from there, just like they drive the dragons or the sea creatures. And there was really that communion. So that's what the tree is about. It's about unity, oneness, connectedness, soul, God, source, benevolence, love. and I definitely felt it in relation to the twin flames, which this is what we're channeling in. That's what we're channeling into our relationships, into the world as a relationship template as well. That higher love, that higher level of relating, that oneness, and that knowing of each other at all levels. So that's what came through, and that was January 2023. So we are now, so it was June 21st, 2024 that it called out to me. And so I feel that there was a real completing of cycles at that point, and a real graduating, a clearing of karma, an up leveling to the next platform up in the twin flame journey, and also in the ascension process. And this came at the same time as I had just done over on Patreon very powerful twin flame alignment with the other light workers over there, and that had brought in the next level of unity also. And what's happening with then that hit from the workshop, and then the hit from this tree at the same time, was a really big releasing of anything that's keeping you in separation. So this is old relationships even that you don't even think that you're still thinking about, or that are connected to you at all, but they're purging out. So you might dream about that person, it feels like they're really there, and it's just that they're shifting out. You're completing with them, you're completing whatever it is you've got, releasing any traumas that were related. What's likely to come up when you receive these codes is anything that is specifically keeping you in resistance to the unity, to merging at the next level with your twin. So I really felt through the two activations, this merging through the lower half of the body at the next level of unity. So there was a spinal alignment, the spines were merging. What was interesting was that they were merging facing each other. So the vision I got was you're jumping out of an aeroplane in tandem with one parachute for the two of you, and you are facing each other with your arms wrapped around each other, and your feet are on their feet, or your feet are connected. And as that's happening, there's a merging through the bodies and through the lower spine, and then there was an adjustment as the spine and the bodies comprehend that they are now holding on the feet, two bodies in one, kind of like this. And then what came up in the real world was all the ways, all the resistances, all the unconscious reasons you don't want to merge, and you don't want to be one, and you want to keep separate identities, or any of the fears. They come up, and it's a really big emotional purging. There might even be some conflicts or triggers between you. And then the overwhelming peaceful feeling was of being one in two bodies, which feels like there isn't that urge like there used to be to see them or connect with them or prod them, because there's this oneness. There's this oneness that's there, and although that's always been there and you've always felt that, and both of you have always felt that, it's a new level of that, that the soul just moving so much more fluidly through two vessels, that you are one movement. And I know I've always said that, but it's even to a further extent, so that there doesn't need to be pushing and pulling. It is hard to describe. So I think what I will do is I will allow it to come through in light language, so that you can be informed at the unconscious levels and the cellular levels, and enable that to just move through you and reorganize it for you, so that you get the experience yourself. But what I want to say also is that the transmission I did yesterday, and I will link that at the end of this video, in the end screen and also down below in the description box, is that an abundance transmission came through, with quite a lot of angels facilitating and coordinating that. And that was, I've been getting messages all the way along that this twin flame upgrade and this twin flame unity, it is not separate to abundance, both occurring at the same time. The up-leveling brings the abundance and the merging. The working through the separation brings the merging and the abundance. The abundance codes bring the higher love and the merging. And there's a couple of channels I'll add in at the end here that came through around that as well. But basically, in that transmission, there was a popping of the limitations at the foundation, and messages came through around the partner, so the physical twin, which is often the masculine, the one identifying as the masculine energy twin, elevating or raising the vibration of the lower spectrum. So this is the spectrum, the physical spectrum that Sandalphon's holding. So one of the twins, though less consciously, probably not aware of it, is simultaneously up-leveling the lower platform, whilst the energetic twin is working in that higher platform to do what I said, where they go up and then pull the twin up and then land together, unified. Atatatia tatatia tatatia takoko. Akatatia tatia 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 tata. Akatatia tatia tata takoko tokokatia tatia toko tatia toka tiata. Akatata to totatia takakakaka. Akatatia takakoko. Akatatia tata toko. In the event of the Great Awakening and the up-leveling of the twin flame unity to a higher spectrum, there is an ancestral release of toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. These shifts occur in the underbelly, the lower platform, through the physical twin flame worker. Akatayato, akatatayakato toko tatakata, akatatatia takatoko toko tatakaka, tiakaka toko ko, iataka to chaka tatataka. Akatatata koto tatatia takato totoko ishakato. In the event of the up-leveling as part of the twin flame journey to the next level of unfoldment and fulfillment, there are untold riches, abundance, and blessings of bliss and joy that are not visible from the current perspective. There will be ever-changing adventures and loving, unified co-creations that reach forward and upward in your trajectory. You are stepping now onto the next level, and this level takes you only higher and higher. Leave behind that which no longer is resonant. That has been achieved already. There is no value in pursuing that. In the event of the Great Awakening, the great unraveling of the truth of unity and divine love, there are blessings to receive and blessings to give. The way is clearer than ever before now, as a threshold is being reached of successful twin flame clearings and twin flame elevations. Your light body is merging at a faster rate now, as the momentum of the group energy accelerates and accentuates the upward movement. Through interference patterns and downward spiraling trajectories, there has been great adversity to advancement, but these adversities are now clear. The upward pathway is clear, and the angelics are reaching down to pull you up now. Feel the pull, feel the draw as you move more into unity consciousness. And the next levels of the journey, which are involving much less separation consciousness and much more unification and co-creation. You have always been functioning as a unity from a soul level. However, there is more conscious co-creation available now to you. Receive now the divine codes as they move down the trunk of the tree. Down through the crystals into the twin flame unity. Down into the earth grids, through your physical vessels, in balanced unity through the middle of those spirals. Atatia katatia katoto kotiaka, akatatia tatia kato, atatatia tatia tatakatia tatokotokoto, akatatako akatata, ishakatota ya 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 kota ya ya, akatoya ya 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 katatiaka, okoshotoka, okoshotoka. Oshokota, Okoshotayaka, Oshokatakayaya, Oshokotayayayaya, Iakatotataya, Atatatia kotaya, Akatatia totokayata, Akatatia tatatata. What I want to say is that this spiral, so what I felt was these two very equal, very straight platform, equal. If they were a scale and they were out of balance or moving like this, they were equal. And the energy was moving down through both centers. So the center of each twin plus the central third energy. And there have recently been, I've been perceiving the masculine side really getting the next level of high level understanding drop in to inform his physical system, his physical consciousness. And also what I'm seeing resulting from that is that masculine twin, or the physical twin, they're essentially coming online, right? Fully grounded, having done all that groundwork, and now really grounding the unified mission and more consciously stepping up to embrace that and commit to it. Atatati takakaka, which will look different in every twin flame unity, but this is how I'm seeing it show up in the physical world and the twin flame journey. Atayaka to tayaka takaya to akata. Okay. So the last thing to show you is the progress with the hummingbird and the flower. So as you're aware, this one represents the upper level, the angelic level, the soul level of, and some time ago, a month or so ago, those came together where the divine masculine searching for the divine feminine fully engaged and dived into full access through that divine feminine gateway. Meanwhile, I've been working on the clay 3D physical version of the hummingbird and the flower, which came through well before that higher level version in the transmissions. And I felt guided to draw the hummingbird as well in our energy art class. So this was in a group energy art class, so it's group energy contributing to this. And what I found is that he came through with all this pink unconditional love and loads of love hearts, and it's so passionate and bright. It's reds and oranges, so it's that lower spectrum, the base chakra, the sacral chakra, very passionate, but really embodying that unconditional divine love. And it was very guided. It was calming from the hummingbird to put all of these different coloured love hearts. Then as I put him up here to dry, I realised he was headed for the flowers. And the flowers are similar colours, the reds and the pinks, with all of these love hearts also around them. And this painting was an offshoot of the Archangel Ariel transmission, and I did a related painting where she was bringing through this love energy into the earth, into the environment, this higher love, and that's what all those love hearts are. So her work has contributed to this divine masculine really accessing that divine feminine. You can see their environments and their worlds are becoming the same now, same colours, same love around them, that love guiding them together into a perfect co-creation. The flower was finished a while ago. This is almost complete, and then I feel this one will then get completed as well, and that will solidify the unity all the way down to the ground. And one last thing to say is that as that foundation dropped after the expansion of abundance transmission, there was layers and layers of releases following that, where those light codes that came through that transmission were informing from the inside out. So those light codes informed the system in both twin flames, that created new decisions and new actions based on the unconscious wisdom and knowing that came through those light codes. So I've seen this as very clear direction showing up, and like the closing down of accounts that are not working or that are distracting, or projects that were going to get started but never got off the ground, all those just being completely shut down and tied up, and a new direction opening up that is supported. So what came through that was support from the angelics and from the higher. And so through this soul tree transmission as well, it's that unification with the higher knowing, the higher wisdom, and the higher support as a fluid motion through you. And the product of that is that there's a clearer direction where you're choosing to not struggle along on your own, but take action in the right direction to implement the right strategies, but also the right support and the right people in place. And within the twin flame unity, that also feels like the twin flames more consciously working together on mission. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you receive those codes and you notice those changes in your life. And those pictures above are just some of the products available to receive those light codes mentioned in the transmission, should you feel you want to have a physical product there with you delivering those codes. I will put the descriptions, the links below in the description box for those and other similar items. So thank you for listening to the end, and blessings, and I'll see you next time.